Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Yes, it is, and thanks for joining me, Dr. Alice Benton, and Milan Yerkovich. If you want to be on this program, you can be. You don't have to audition. All you have to do is call us at 1-800-229-3000. We would love to get to talk to you and whatever you're going through. Call us right now, 1-800-229-3000. Now, I've just gotten off of a weekend, and Alice was one of the therapists there, where we did brains, boundaries, battles, and the Bible. And I've got somebody here who actually attended, and I wanted to get to them once they're freed up to come on with us here. And this is Gay. Gay, you were there on Saturday, right?
I sure was, and that was what I was just calling about. I was going to go away and not do the weekend or not do the seminar, and I am so glad that I did not. It was absolutely life-changing. I can't tell you which was more powerful, but every single speaker was fantastic, and I've heard them all before, but they spoke to me just in my state where I am right now. It was just wonderful. But let me tell you what the reason I'm calling is.
Okay.
I was in an awesome small group with my therapist was Laura Mangan McDonald from Dallas.
Yes. All right.
And we want copies of all your poems.
He was very poetic over the day, wasn't he, Gay?
Just to, thank you.
They were just, they're a perfect summary of each presentation, and we want copies of them. So
let me see what I can do.
If you can get them to Laura, then she'll get them to us when we have our next meeting with her next Monday.
All right. Well, I'll tell folks about that in just a minute. But while you're on, Gay, tell me why you think that was a great day, because I sure thought it was a great day. I heard many, many great stories. But for you, what was it that makes you think, or it made it a great day?
Well, each speaker was just so real and so vulnerable and so open, and each message was just full of just encouragement and wisdom. And I've been listening to you guys since you were Minruth Meyer and New Life, like when you first started.
Yeah.
So. My husband actually went to the clinic in Dallas many, many years ago and was a patient of Dr. Myers. So you guys are very special to me. And I also, am I on the air?
Yeah, you are. Everybody's here.
Okay, well, then I don't want to say some of the things I was going to say. But anyway.
All right. Well...
okay, I can be honest. I was at a very, very low state in my life, and I ended up at Dominion Hospital in a life program for 3 weeks, which saved my life.
Wonderful.
And I don't want to go there again.
Yeah.
And so instead, I spent a whole day from 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night connected to my tablet, my computer, and staying in my house and not looking at my phone and not checking Facebook and not going to the mailbox and not making phone calls and not doing all the things to keep me busy. And,
all right, Gay, we got to go to a break. Hold on.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is being held online Saturday, February 27th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and Dr. Alice Benton and Milan Yerkovich talking with Gay here. And Gay, you were right in the middle of something before that rude commercial came on there. Anything else you want to say?
Just that I've been to. I think I've attended all of your workshops, and I've been to just about everything that you guys have. And I'm a Club New Life member because you saved my life, and so I just am indebted to you and have been so blessed by you and your ministry. But
thank you.
I think the thing that I got the most out of, well, I can't say that thing I got the most out of.
Tell us something.
So much out of,
yeah.
Okay.
But what were you about to say? What was powerful?
The new thing that I learned for myself was from Sheila.
Okay.
What areas of brokenness do I need to hear the shepherd's voice to heal me?
There you go. Thank you for that.
And I recognized that I am now struggling with having moved out, and I did the Restore workshop last year and in Virginia. And I've since, as a result of that, I've moved out and I'm now living alone. And it's my second marriage. And I realize that what I need to know is that I am loved enough, even though I have 2 failed marriages.
Amen. Well, Gay, we love you, and I am grateful for your comments. In fact, I'm going to send you, just to say thanks, a Restoration Bible. You hold on. We're going to get your address there. And I wish we had more time. We got to go and get some calls in. But it was just one of the many intensives that we do. And they're powerful because we have folks like Alice come in and do the special group therapy sessions after somebody presents, where you really dig in and go to work. And Alice, I'll just ask you, just tell people about that combination there and how that really does help.
Gay's call encapsulates what happens on these weekends. It's taking the courage to get honest enough to confess the thing we don't want people to know about us. And the speakers inspire us and often make their own confessions, which makes it okay for then us to confess in the safety of the small group. Right. And then we get adopted into a new spiritual family on these weekends. People come in lonely, isolated, with painful secrets they've never been able to tell anyone. And through the process and the combination of both the motivational and teaching speakers and then the small group family that you're drawn into, it becomes okay to open up. And then God's healing grace is able to pour into us. And we leave with a plan of action and with the ability to pursue it with this little community that's built on the weekend. It is miraculous.
Yep. And every person was given 4 additional sessions, group sessions after this for follow-up, and I think that's a pretty valuable thing. And, you know, we've got some more intensives coming up. We have Intimacy and Marriage on February the 13th. Now, there's a great pre-Valentine's Day prep work experience. And I'll tell you, you will not leave there the same. You will not be disappointed. And then Restore is February 27th. And I hope that if you've been struggling with getting over somebody that's hurt you, that you'll go to Restore. I'm hoping that if you want a better marriage or save a disaster marriage, but really just to maximize the kind of intimacy and connection you can have in your marriage, I just hope and pray you'll call us and come join us February 13th for Intimacy in Marriage. It is a life changer.
And Steve, as Gay pointed out, even if you're doing well and you've already been to a weekend, coming back to another weekend is protective, and it safeguards you from relapse.
It does. And everything that we do, that when you pay, it goes to support New Life, but also all the supporters, we couldn't do it without you either. It all works together. All right, let's go to Mary, Seattle, Washington, KGNW. She called us on 1-800-229-3000. Hi there, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Sure.
A real good friend of mine, a good friend, a lifetime mentor, suggested I call in, and it was like, wow, I should call because I'm really have been dealing for the last year and a half with struggles with my grandson.
Okay, what's going on there?
He's 13 years old now, and he's living with us because he was sexually abusing his half-sisters. And we went through, he is currently on probation for that, so he's living with me while he is having his SOTP therapy, which is your sexual abuse treatment.
Mary, let me ask you a quick question. How long ago was this happened?
Well, he started abusing early, and we caught him when it was about 11 and a half when it actually came out that that's what had happened. And so he came and lived with me immediately after that.
And on the legal side, what did they do? Anything punitive versus therapeutic there?
Well, he was prosecuted, which is kind of unusual because of his age at the time of it. But he was prosecuted, and his sentence is what do they call it? Where he doesn't have a sentence because he's on parole. It's been deferred.
Yeah.
The sentence has been deferred.
Okay.
Pending treatment with his SOTP provider, which he had already started before he was prosecuted. So this has been quite a long haul.
Okay, so the question for us then is what?
Okay, so in addition to the sexual deviancy problems that he's also had defiance disorder that we're dealing with. He's had animal abuse issues where he's actually smothered chicks, killed chickens, beat on goats, sexually abused goats. So he's not in the farm situation anymore. He's living with us. But we do have a dog, and just recently, about a month ago, he tried to strangle the dog because it was barking.
All right, so I think we have a picture of the level of problem that he has. Ask a specific question that we could answer about that.
Okay. What the SOTP provider has kind of suggested is a program that's called ART. It stands for Aggressive Replacement Therapy. It's a cognitive program, 10 weeks, 3 times a week. It will be starting possibly in January. The problem I have with this is his parents are against it. They don't want it. Therefore, he doesn't want to have this kind of therapy done. I really have a check in my spirit, and I have a hard time with him going back home knowing that he's got this anger that's brewing in him. And they're at the point with his SOTP where he's doing reintroduction with his family 3 times a week now, where he can see the girls again, and a very highly structured supervision, of course, but 3 times a week. So
Okay,
I'm
a
just
quick question.
wondering
What is the parents' objection to him being involved with that kind of treatment?
I think it stems from fear that it's peer-based and he's going to be talking to other kids. They think that they can control it themselves, which is, I think, part of the issue of his whole problem is they're very controlling. I think they want something that's Christian-based. The other issue is they really think it stems from a brain injury that he had, a traumatic brain injury when he was 6 months old.
Okay. Let me ask Alice and Milan to jump in here and give you some help here with this. I think we've got the picture. We've got about 5 minutes here before the break. So, Alice, you want to get us started here, and then we'll go to Milan.
Mary, I greatly admire that you took your grandson in and that you were willing to step into the fray to be an influence in his life and to protect his sisters. Do you have the authority as his caregiver to decide whether or not he goes into this treatment, even if his parents disagree?
No, I do not. In fact, now that he's 13, I can't even talk to his therapist, supposedly. I've been given a gag order, so when he has defiance issues or something, I can't tell them, hey, we're really struggling with defiance issues or what we're having problems with. So I don't have custody of him. I am just taking care of him as the courts are allowing.
So 2 issues really stand out to me, and I'm sure they do for you as well. If he so recently attacked the dog, it's such a sign to me that he is not yet safe to have such access to his sisters, even though I understand it's supervised, it's structured, and so perhaps in that environment. But that is still a big concern to me that he had such violent behavior so recently. And then I can't help but think of greater trauma than just a brain injury, even though a brain injury can certainly affect aggression and behavior. But for it to lead to sexual abuse is not a connection that I know to brain injury. And so I have to wonder about sexual abuse in his history. Do you know if that's a part of his story?
We do not know that. We do not know that. We have not... We don't. We may never know exactly what has triggered him.
He's not the biological child of both the people who are parenting him now. Is that right? What's the explanation there?
Correct. His mother was pregnant with him, and the father was never in the picture. He actually committed suicide when my grandson was about 5 or 6 years old, and he was out of the state when that happened. But he never really had a relationship with his father, and so I think they're very afraid of, like, they don't want to put him on any kind of medication. Really, they haven't done anything that they'll work with medication-wise because they're afraid of, the black box warnings on medication.
Mary, let me say this, and then I'll let Milan and Alice chime in. He has a very, very severe problem that if more than less is done, this thing can be turned around. But if the treatment he's getting is approached by his parents that they're afraid of everything, including medication, then I fear that there would be maybe not a great outcome. They need to listen to the experts who have dealt with a lot of kids that have hit this level of a problem, both the destruction of animals, sexual abuse, things like that. And they really need to do everything they can to help turn this around, or I don't think they're going to be happy. Milan, do you have a thought here? And then Alice, you can finish up.
Mary, regarding the aggression replacement therapy 3 times a week times 10 weeks that you ask about, he should do every single thing he can to be in community, to be in the presence of clinical psychologists and therapists, psychiatrists, but really, Mary, what's going on here is this is a child that, as Alice already said, we're just sitting here saying something happened to this kid. You know, somewhere he was traumatized. Whether it's a big trauma of one big proportion, or what we call small t trauma, a succession of chronic trauma. But you're also showing us that the parents are very paranoid, controlling, fearful, constrictive, rigid, and that can also create anger. And so it's a family system problem, Mary, and that whole family system needs to be looked at. So my answer to you about the question, yes, he should go into that, but the parents are the biggest problem, so much so that perhaps he needs to be removed from their actual custody.
All right, we'll take a break and come right back.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Conquer Worry and Anxiety by Dr. Daniel Amen, Healing is a Choice by Steve Arterburn, and Forgiving What You'll Never Forget and Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, both by Dr. Dave Stu. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. We just want to finish up here, and Alice, I'll let you take it from here on Mary and her working with this 13-year-old's parents and what to do here. What are your final thoughts?
Oh, Mary, I want to advocate for you to have a stronger voice supported with authority in this position as you're taking care of this boy. And so putting calls into the highest level of authority in the parole system to be able to have a voice with the therapist, you probably have the most insight into his current level of safety more than anybody else. It's crazy that you don't have access to his therapist. So I would keep complaining, because I bet you have. Keep complaining and putting those calls in and letting people know that he's continuing to be violent. I'd advocate for trauma-based therapy. I think EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, would be helpful. It might even help to uncover some of the unknowns about what he has been through and the trauma that the family is unaware of. But I would also support the parents wanting Christian therapy. There is very likely spiritual warfare going on here, and having a Christian therapist as part of a team, because this boy needs as much help as he can get to get him out of this and keep his sister safe from him.
Yeah, and again, in these cases, the sister is the priority for safety, and if no matter what the schedule shows, if she's uncomfortable, or if you believe that, well, they should just never ever be left alone, ever. I'm really glad that you called, and I hate it when we hear stories of of this. But I love it, Mary, that he has an advocate like you that's willing to call a program to find out what other people think. So you are his champion, and I am so grateful.
Yes, Steve, can I say one more thing?
Sure.
He's 13 right now, and as puberty sets in and becomes fully developed in him over the next few years, that really complicates and adds to the problem here, because testosterone is a very strong, powerful, aggressive hormone. And if he doesn't learn to control his impulsivity and his anger, that could turn against people. And we really want to be aware of that. That's why what you said to Mary about her advocacy, when the parents are so rigid and constrictive and restrictive, for Mary to advocate and pound a drum is really important to get the right help. And I agree with you, Alice. He's going to need to really be looked at, not just from a pure cognitive perspective, how can we change this, but he needs to be looked at through the lens of traumatologists. This kid's been traumatized.
Yeah. All right, 1-800-229-3000 to join us. I'm going to send Mary a copy of How We Love Our Kids, and I'll send her a Restoration Bible as our way of saying thank you. By the way, Christmas is coming up, and I was informed by my publisher that since COVID has happened 6 months ago, the sale of Every Man's Bible went up 75% over last year. That's over 500,000 more sales in that particular Bible. It is a great gift, especially the Explorer edition. That's the great one. And you can get that from us by calling 1-800-NEW LIFE. Great Christmas gift for the man that you love. Let's go to Megan, Hurst, Texas. Used to live there. KWRD. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks so much for taking my call.
Sure.
I have a question. I recently just finished a sexual healing Bible study, and it kind of brought up some emotions that I didn't think I had really, though I thought I had dealt with. I've been sexually assaulted 3 times in my life. When I was 5 with my grandfather, when I was in high school by a stranger at gunpoint, and a coworker about 10 years ago. And but I thought kind of I dealt with it. But then I've recently started dating after being single for 9 years, and I think things are coming up. And I've seen a Christian counselors, 3 different women in my life. And I guess my question is, I don't get anywhere with these women. I don't know if it's because they're women, and I guess I'm wondering, should I be seeing a man who's going to go, hey, you need to do this, and instead of just listening and being like a grandmother or just, let me talk and cry.
Well, let me just say this.
Done.
Well, this is another one of those severe situations like our previous caller, and Alice brought up the fact that this boy really needed to have trauma therapy. Were any of these counselors trauma specialists? Because you have been so traumatized by this. Were any of them specializing in trauma, the treatment of trauma?
No, I don't think so. Well, one was through Menderson-Meyer Clinic. Yeah. That was after when I was in 19. But she kind of focused on my weight, and I think I gained weight because my dad said that, fat people nobody wants to have sex with fat people.
Okay.
So I kind of gained weight, after I was assaulted.
But you've never specifically had a trauma specialist deal with this, and I think that's going to.
I don't think so.
Okay. So we'll talk to you about that right after this one. Well, hold on. We'll get to it and let Alice and Milan answer that. You're listening to New Life Live. It is one of those rare days of infamy, Pearl Harbor Day. Most of us, we relate to 9/11, but before 9/11, there was December the 7th, the attack on Pearl Harbor. We want to remember all the people that died, that were injured, that were hurt, and those that are still giving their lives for our country. What a great thing.
I
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, February 13th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Yerkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. We're talking with Megan, and Megan has really been brutally traumatized at gunpoint, sexually assaulted. And Alice, let's start with you. What do you think she should do?
Megan, oddly enough, I'm very excited for you. In part because you've already been willing to dip into the work with multiple therapists, and you're so aware that even though you did that work before, now that a new season of life, dating, has begun, it does reopen the wounds in a different way or reveals some of the pain that is still there from these horrific assaults that you have been through. So I don't think you necessarily need a male therapist. I think you need an active, directive therapist. And it's fine to call therapists and ask, are you the kind that will give me directions and an action plan? Will you challenge me? Or are you more of a sit back and listen therapist? Because you don't need a sit back and listen therapist. You need an active, directive therapist. But I think that, as Steve was saying, that EMDR therapy, the eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, would be a great fit for you, male or female therapist. But I would still ask, are you a directive therapist? That's what I need.
Milan, your thoughts here for her.
Well, I want to address the issue of what's a Christian therapist. A lot of people go by that handle, and a lot of people jump on that because they say, well, I'm a Christian, so I want to go to a Christian therapist. And I think you probably know, if you've listened to me for a while, the strength of my Christianity. But I don't think that's the first requirement that one should look for. I think you need to look for someone who's well-trained and a Christian. The two are oftentimes mutually exclusive. You will have a Christian who's not necessarily well trained, especially if they're not licensed. They don't go through the training that licensed people do. And so all the staff at our offices are licensed people, well trained, who are solid Christians as well. And that has a strong bearing upon their approach to life, the biblical worldview, you as a human being, the dignity of mankind made in the image and likeness of God. All these different kinds of things are very valuable, but often Christian therapists are not well trained. They can be sympathetic, they can be the grandmother to let you cry, but they're not necessarily well trained. And as Alice said, you need to be with a traumatologist, someone that specializes in somatic and EMDR types of trauma therapies to help you heal and to be able to manage those horrible assaults that you experienced by a grandfather at 5 years old. What a breach of trust. What a violation. In high school at gunpoint, a coworker. And I'm really sorry that your father told you what he told you. It really makes me angry that your father told you that if you're heavy, you won't be sexually assaulted. It just makes me really angry that someone would tell you that. So I just want you to know that.
I think it's our privilege to get to share with you.
Absolutely.
That it's not just about Christian therapy. It's not just about a man. It is about a type of therapy.
Right.
And I hope that if you hold on, we'll try to find that kind of active counselor for you. Now, one day I said some things like you just said, Milan, and somebody sent me an email. He said, I can't believe you don't believe in Christian counseling. I said,
well, I didn't say that.
And I didn't either. I said, I do. There are some secular and Christians that are limited in what they do.
Well,
you want to be sure that they're not.
Steve, some types of Christian counseling I don't think are helpful.
Yes,
there are some places where you just go in and they pray with you. You just go in and they read scripture verses to you. That isn't what we're talking about here. We're talking about how was the brain affected, and if a person doesn't know anything about the emotional, relational, the neuroplasticity and the neurology of relationships, they're really missing something that is important. We have knowledge to be used at this point in time in history that people didn't have 100 years ago.
That's right. That is right. Well, I'm going to send her How We Love. I think that'll be a great, I'll send her also Healing is a Choice. I hope that'll be helpful to her. Let's go to Joan, Boston, Massachusetts. WEZE is the station. Hi, Joan. How are you?
Hi. Hi, Steve. I just want to comment that I was at the workshop as well on Saturday, and I found it so amazing. So many parts of it, like you were just talking to, I forget her name, about trauma counseling. Well, this covered Christian counseling, trauma. It covered so much. I was so pleased. It also made me realize that I also needed a trauma therapist, which I've never had. I thought if I just had gotten a Christian counselor, and I thought that was great. But we talk about scripture, or she'll tell me, her husband's a pastor, she'll tell me, something about church, and that's nice, but I'm feeling like I'm not getting the kind of therapy that I need. So I listened to what you were saying to the caller before me, and it made a lot of sense.
Good. I appreciate that, and I'm really glad you got to join us on Saturday. And if you will hold on, let us just take a shot at finding a counselor for you that you might love. Two things I want to say. I forgot to tell people about the poetry. I was at a speaking event one time, and Ken Meadaba, after I finished speaking, and everybody finished, he got up on the stage. He was a blind pianist and musician, and he sang and performed this song based on the talk that I had just given, and everyone. So this Saturday I just wrote poetry, and after each talk I summarized their talk with poetry, and it was so much fun to do. I was really thrilled about that. And I hope that, again, you'll be able to write poetry one day and summarize people's talk. But anyway, it was a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that Joan came. And we are really big on Christian counselors here, but sometimes you need more. We're really big on Christians dating each other. But if the only criteria you have is when somebody says, well, I'm a Christian, let's date, you need more criteria than that. I think a lot of people, really disappointed people, would attest to the fact that just because someone says they're Christian doesn't mean they are qualified to have you alone with them on a date.
It does not mean they're healthy.
That's correct.
There are Christians who become a Christian and they're saved, but they need to do exactly what you were saying, Sheila Walsh, and what Gay said at the beginning of the show. What is the one area you really need to work on? And am I willing to subject myself to the cross and let God heal me there and go through a path of healing? And that's the kind of person I'm interested in being a friend with.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to Sue, Seattle, Washington, KGNW. By the way, if you want to join us, we're going to be here for another program, 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. Sue, how are you?
Hi. Well, I've been better, but my question is, I've heard you guys talk before to other people about taking antidepressants, and I mean, you're in favor of them and everything. My doctor is constantly trying to get me to take an antidepressant for my anxiety disorder. But I have tried them before, and they make me more anxious. So I'm really afraid to try another one. But my anxiety is really bad. So I'm torn between, I really, want help with it, but everything I read about, you can't get off of them. You get so sick trying to get off of them because your brain's changed, and they're no better than a placebo anyway. And so I don't know. I think I just want, somebody to tell me it's okay to take them, and long term it won't hurt me, I guess.
Okay. All right. I'm glad you called. I have a long answer for this. You guys want to chime in first?
What you just said to us about reasons not to, I wouldn't, I would not agree with. It's important to understand what an antidepressant does. The most common antidepressants simply slow down the reabsorption of serotonin in your brain. Serotonin is something God made, and it's supposed to be in your brain. But when you're constantly anxious and stressed, you do not make enough serotonin. So what it does is it slows it down, the reabsorption, so that it accumulates. And having also, like you, struggled with anxiety many, many years ago, I went on an antidepressant and it absolutely changed my life. I woke up one morning and I said, oh, this is what it feels like not to wake up anxious. And it was one of the greatest things I ever did. I was able to go off of that, and you go into an antidepressant gradually, a little bit at a time, and you go off antidepressants gradually, a little bit at a time. And so the problem with anxious people is they get so frightened they stop taking it, or they feel something different and they stop taking it, and they actually sabotage it before it can actually start working. That's the challenge.
We'll be back after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book. It showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, January 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Growth Has No Boundaries by Drs. John Townsend and Henry Cloud, Take Your Life Back by Steve Arterburn and Dr. Dave Stoop, and the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Sue, I just want to say this, that you can always stop taking this medication. I think that was really bad advice that somebody gave you, or a perspective. But here's the thing. I'm not so excited about somebody getting off of something that helps them to function in a way that works like nothing has ever helped them before. I was just talking to a couple today about their child, and will my child be on this stuff forever? I said they don't have to be. But if this is the stuff that really helps this child to function in the way they've never been able to function, the good news is they can stay on it for the rest of their life. So I'm just going to encourage you, Sue, try it. You can quit, but try it long enough to see what the impact is. And if it's the right medication, then I think you're really going to get an amazing result that maybe you haven't gotten up until now. And so what I want to do, I want to send you this Take Your Life Back book. I think that, along with just acknowledging that if you're not exercising and taking antidepressant or anti-anxiety medication, you're missing a big benefit there. And if you're not watching a diet that is much more conducive to stable moods with more complex carbohydrates and protein and stuff like that, you're also missing a big part of stabilization and clear thinking. Speaking of clear thinking, Larry Sonnenberg is one of the clearest thinkers I've ever met, and he's in the studio. Larry, talk to us a little bit today.
Well, I have a testimony, but I'm going to skip it. I want you guys to get another call in. I just want to encourage folks. You heard a couple of callers talk about the workshop they came to on Saturday and what a difference it made. And if you believe in New Life, if you love this radio program, if you've been to a workshop, if you believe the change that's happening because God's doing a work in people, please make a gift and support. We have a $200,000 match going right now. We have $81,582 has been matched. So we've got about $120,000 to go. And we could sure do a lot with that to help continue this program and just help people find another way of living that will be more in line with the way God wants them to live.
Larry, the fiscal year of New Life is December 31st. Calendar year. So that's why, here on the 7th of December, that's really important because you're trying to finish strong.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It absolutely is, and December's a big month.
And what an amazingly difficult year this has been for all of us, and we've just been blessed, but we really need some help in our general fund giving. If you can do that, please, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Anything else you want to say?
No, I want you to get a call in, so we'll get it next time.
I'll say one more thing. Helping in December is really important for New Life, but then don't forget New Life in January.
Thank you.
And I've heard Larry say that for 16 years. So I just thought I'd use his line here for a second.
January is the worst month of Larry's life. So thank you, Larry.
That's the point.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Donna. Hi, Donna. How are you today?
Yes. Well, I'm just fine, thank you. I've got a lot of problems here to deal with right now. I got saved when I was 30.
Mm-hmm.
My dad sexually abused me when I starting at 4 years old, and my brother was 2 years older, and he was sexually abusing, and with the beatings and the name calling and all that,
Donna.
That goes with it. And then my brother drowned when he was 17, and I'm 2 years younger, like I said, than him. And we were always suspect that my dad had something to do with that. It was the first time my brother and I had ever been separated. But this is a real long story, and I've just written a book, and it's at publishers now. It's going to be called You Stole From Me My Childhood.
Okay, so what's the question for us, Donna? Because we don't have a lot of time. We're at the end of our program.
Okay, the question is that I adopted my husband's 8-year-old daughter, and when she was 8, and she just has proven to be real covert, heartless. She does all of these terrible things. The last thing she's done was steal my house. It took me years and years to buy a house, and I went down and put a down payment on. My husband didn't go with me, and he was part of the problem anyway. But I didn't notice it till a little bit later, and my youngest daughter was my biological daughter. She was 3 years old when I adopted my other
Donna,
daughter.
you're going to have to shorten it so we can help you here because we're running out of time. So is there a question we can answer?
I don't know what to tell you except that, yeah, I'm trying to get my house back because it wasn't worth a lot, but it was worth $75,000.
Right.
And
so
I'm very sick, and that was from my old age.
Well, I am so sorry about that. Is there anything you could think of that we might be able to help you with on this program?
I don't know for sure. You know, it's just a lot. We've been dealing with this now for almost 30 years.
Well,
Donna, try to give us a what should I do or how can I handle this? Put it in a question form.
Is there anything I can do? I tried to help her. I've written her letters. We're separated now because the house was in another state.
Here's what I'm going to suggest to you. Hold on just a second. I'm going to suggest something to you. I think rather than dealing with her, I think the beginning is to put some supportive people around you that can help you see a path forward, even if you never get your house back, even if this person never turns around. But you need a support group. Maybe a group therapy situation.
She needs to talk also to a lawyer, Steve and Alice, just to get legal counsel on this is physical property. It's supposed to be mine. Somehow it's not. How do I get the house back? You really need to talk to a lawyer, somebody who's familiar with real estate law that can help you on this.
And Donna, when someone mistreats us so consistently over time, and you have done the good, gentle approach, the letter writing, trying to draw close to your adopted daughter, but when the sins build up and there is no change of heart, the Bible tells us to address the person with witnesses, and if the behavior continues, to distance ourselves from them. And so it may not be time to focus on how do you help her, but rather how do you protect yourself from her, and then model that for your other daughter you were talking about who may be mistreated by her as well. Distance yourself.
In the seminar that we were just in, Henry Cloud was speaking, and he was talking about the fact that the load that many of us carry is simply too heavy for any of us to carry on our own. But we have resources. There are places where we can connect with folks to come along and help us, partner with us. People love helping other people with the load that they're struggling with. And so this is the same thing here. This is what we're talking about, is you really need some folks who consistently are dealing with you week after week, and as Milan said, cutting through everything. You need a great attorney that you can trust and who will lead you down the right path there. If anybody's struggling, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you'd like to join us on the next program, 1-800-229-3000. We would love to see you there. Join Milan, myself, and his wife Kay on the 13th of February. It's coming right around the corner for Intimacy in Marriage, and I would encourage everybody to remember this is Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th, 1941, when so much of folks all around the world were devastated and wondering what in the world is going to happen in this world. And we're so grateful for anybody that has fought and died for this amazing country. It is not freedom that has been cheap, and we don't ever want to take it for granted. I don't ever take you for granted. I'm thrilled that you listen and watch, and I'd sure be thrilled if you gave us a call. Here's the number. We're going to be here for another hour. 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. If you need some help or you can help us, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You have a great day. Thanks, Alice. Thanks
for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.